Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Meet the Players, Meet the Former Players. And it's indeed a privilege to have Steve and Scott Harvy here today. I probably think the only twins who've ever played with Preston, but they've both got unique records. So welcome, Steve and Scott.
Hey, Lee. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
For people who don't know, Steve's got the darker jacket on.
He's 3 minutes older too, Lee. Yeah. you can see it's a hell of a difference. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Before you got to Preston in 1981 or thereabouts, where did you hail from? Where did you come from?
Well, we came. I'll have a crack, and Scotty can fill in the blanks. But we lived up in Laylaw. We were playing in Jika cricket with Thomastown, so we sort of came through the under 14s and 16s there, and sort of got to the end of our junior cricket. And I think we went down and tried a little bit. I certainly went and trained at Carlton, you know, in my sort of first senior year, and played a couple of games in the thirds and fourths, or the fourths mostly. And when I didn't get picked, I'd go back and play for Thomastown, and I think Scott might have played at Thomastown that year.
Yeah,
and then
and
then the next year, I don't know again about Scott. We wanted to play together. I'm sure about that. We'd played plenty of test matches down the driveway, but I wanted to play turf cricket. You know, I sort of thought, you know, that's the real game, and Preston seemed to be, I think from memory, the nearest turf cricket club. You know, and I don't recall a strong connection anywhere, but we found our way down there that pre-season, and then spent, you know, the next 15 years there or so. If you remember differently, Scotty?
No, it's along those lines. We played that one senior year at Thomastown, and like Steve said, he had a couple of games elsewhere at Carlton. But I remember the connection to Preston also. Said this to Steve during the week. I had some strong memories of us going down to Temple Drive, which was off Settlement Road in Thomastown, to the indoor nets there, and that's where Preston used to do their pre-season, you know, at the very start of it. But it was a lot of fun, and it got us connected to the club, and then obviously catching the train from Thomastown or Laylaw down to Kramer Street, getting off at Preston where the market is, and just walking across the road, and you know, getting familiar in with that, you know, the back nets with June and Peter running things, and seemed awfully professional at the time, and you know, great place to be. Scotty,
you were a keeper
yep.
Who batted. And,
that's very kind. not many others would say that.
and Steve, you were the batter who was an occasional bowler.
Don't
know about that.
Yeah, I think that's been very kind. I don't think I would have bowled even too many official overs at Preston. I might have bowled a little bit in junior cricket, and I fancied myself as an indoor cricket bowler, but he only had to bowl 2 overs in indoor cricket.
And he never got me down the side of the house.
Yeah. No, just an opening bat. I'd always sort of been an opening bat or in junior cricket.
You came in together. Your first games for Preston. What grade did you play in, Steve?
Well, we played together. I think we both started in the threes, and Scott will probably want to add to this, but I do remember it was with Billy Muir's team, mm-hmm. and we played our first game of cricket out at the Flemington Kensington ground, the little postage stamp ground that was opposite the abattoirs or near the Flemington racecourse. Yeah, and I just loved it. You know, like I can't remember, you know, whether we won or lost, or whether we made runs or not. But yeah. It was great fun. I think Gus was playing that day, and maybe Andy Norris, and we played a full year under Billy, which was a heap of fun.
Did it take long for you to get into the first, Steve?
We were talking the other night. It took me a couple of years. So I played probably that full year in the threes. The following year, I might have played threes and seconds. And then I think the year after that, so it was around 83, 84, I think I played a handful of games, you know, in the first 11. I think Groucho was the skipper at the time, and John Berrickrey might have been playing then.
Okay, and Scotty, you worked your way into the twos and then had almost a career in the twos.
Yeah, I did for a period of time. I had the full season with Billy in the threes, which was a lot of fun and a great way to be introduced into the club. And then, in the twos the following year under Paul Jones, I believe. And it was fun because I used to walk around from Mum and Dad's place to where he lived in Thomastown and catch a ride to the games with him. And I just recalled that with one of his family members on Facebook the other day, which was lovely. And then, spent, the best part of the next 7 or 8 years in the twos. I mentioned, I think Kenny Howe had finished up at the club or had moved on and got the opportunity with the gloves. So, but at that stage, I was batting regularly in the top order. So I used to open the batting and keep. But as my career went on, the batting slid to the bottom of the order, but I didn't mind that. The 8 odd years I had in the twos were fantastic. I mean, you were captain for one of them, of course. And I think I played under Knackers as well and Carpy. And then obviously success in the twos later in the later 4 years under Dale Carpenter, Dave Norris and Wayne Robinson, winning group finals and so forth. So a very successful era at the end of that.
A bit tough being a wicket keeper.
Oh, yeah.
You have to wait your time.
No, you do. You do. And, you would well know. And we had Nord at the club and he was a fantastic gloveman like yourself and the records show that. And really, I didn't mind playing in the twos whatsoever. The core group of the club across the first 2 11s were fantastic. And, a lot of mateship out of it. And I got my turn eventually, and I probably got it at the right time when the club was in a golden patch. So I'm not complaining.
And Steve, you got into the firsts and were batting high up the order pretty much right from the start.
Yeah, I think, and I don't think I opened the batting when I first got into the team. I must have batted middle order or something. I can't believe they would have put me open, at the beginning. I think Dave Norris and Magoo and others, and Groucho. But certainly, by the time sort of Killer arrived, I can't remember what year Killer's first year was. But it was probably 86 or something like that. Certainly, by the time he was sort of captain coach, and I remember opening the batting. I was a regular opener with Dave Robbo for a fair patch of time, and played in the team there, and we started to build. At that time the seconds were really strong, and I think we played 2 years. We lost the semis 2 years in a row, and then we lost 2 grand finals 2 years in a row. So we had 4 finals campaigns in a row under Killer. I think they were all under Killer, and we're getting better and better every year. But we're never sort of leaving with the chocolates, which was frustrating.
As a batter, what was your approach to batting? I mean, you're a beautiful front foot player, but what was your approach?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and I'm glad you asked that. I mean, and like at that time, it was still formative, and I mentioned Killer, and I'm really thankful he came to the club, and he brought real discipline, and he really put a lot of time into me and helped me with my game, and that continued through to my district years and back again. And as I sort of reflect on, towards the end of my career, certainly I always used to focus not so much on the runs, but just occupying the crease as an opener. I sort of tried to treat, getting to the tea break was a primary goal, and sort of taking the shine off the ball, all those cliches for an opener, and that was a role. And I sort of learnt that that's my role in the team, and focused a lot of my concentrating when I batted or self-talk was about being disciplined around occupying the crease. I'd be conscious of counting balls in an over. I'd know when it was getting towards the end of an over, and so don't play a silly shot on the 6th ball, right? Because you're just about to get a mental break. Just little things like that.
You played in a very successful sort of era, had some wonderful players, Rohan, Ravi, Pereira, just to name a couple, plus some good bowlers and Ronnie Brents, so experienced young players. How many of the flags did you play in, Scott?
In the first 11, I played in 3. So I played in the one which sort of, I played after Steve had left and sort of gone to North for a period of time. I played in another final. It was my first year in the ones. We played Caulfield, and it was unusual at the time, but we played in a grand final loss as a one-dayer. So that was another grand final, I guess, gone begging. And then the following year, we in 91, 92, with Hobbs at the helm, we broke the drought. So I played in that year, the following year, so back-to-back win there. both with championship wins, and then again later in my career in 96, 97 under Molly. So yeah, 3 first 11 flags and 3 first 11 championships. So very, very, very fortunate.
Steve, what about you? How many did you play in through that period?
Yeah, I left at the wrong time. I think I played in 2 losing grand finals. I think it was in 88, 89 against Ivanhoe. Andrew Waldsmith, I think, whacked us around the park one in that game, and then we lost the next year to Melton. Then at that point, I decided, I'd go and have a go at North, and spent 4 years there. Came back, joined the team under Greg Hobbar, and in that first season, it was a great team, with Harvy and Rowan and so on. Made the grand final, lost to Brighton. So at that stage, I was sort of, none from 3. So 2 years later, in the 96, 97 was the I suppose it was the 4th grand final I'd played in, and finally got one. Yeah, so we beat Malvern at Preston, which was a great experience, and went on to the championship. And I think it's been referred to in some of the material on the site. We had I think it was Altona, made 260 or something, and we got the runs with 20 overs to spare or something. It was just ridiculous. Gamini and Runga had a day out.
Yeah, it was a picnic. Yeah.
Fantastic that both of you could play in that.
Yeah, and in fact, that day and that game was, both of us respectively. But it was my last game of cricket, and Scott's last game at Preston. Went on and played a season at Northcote, but it was a great way to finish, and enjoy that moment. Yeah.